Hello, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together, we are TwinFinity.
We are twin flames in union, sharing our journey through a series of videos. This is video number 18, and it's called The Tests of Trust.
As a recap from the last video, at the end of July 1998, Angie had still not paid rent. She was really struggling because she had no job, very little money, and hardly any food.
Yeah.
She is also being forced to feel and purge all her emotions: anger, sadness, fear, loneliness, amongst others. Although Angie and I have not been in touch, I put another note under her apartment door just because I miss her and can't stop thinking of her. Very true.
Yeah.
And Angie also gets a notice of court from her apartment management because she hasn't paid rent. Today, we are doing our video from our dining room. We've managed to find a neat little area where there's no pictures, no china cabinet, nothing behind us. And today, we've got Believe in front of us.
Yes.
It's also got 3 pictures of us hiding out in the mountains as well. It may also look like that I've got the B of the Believe right underneath my chin. Actually, I'm about a foot back from it. And if you see me just trying to rest my chin virtually on the B, that's just me being playful.
Oh my goodness, you're funny.
Okay.
So why we have Believe is because this is the video about having to test or having to go through the tests of trust and believe. So figured it was appropriate to have our little Believe sign. This usually hangs on our wall, but for now it's sitting on our dining room table. So we're going to get started because there's a lot to cover. In fact, just for fun, I want to show you. This was my journal from back then. It only goes from June 28th to August 12th. And this is how thick it is. I mean, it looks a bit thicker because there's like tabs and paper clips. But I had literally nothing to do in my life but write, which is exactly, now that I look back, what the whole intention was. Why I was meant to do nothing but write. Because we have perfect stories to share now.
And she had all this time to write, and I was out running around trying to have my own life at that time.
Yeah.
So this is why a lot of this story, and especially at this point, is about Angie. This is where she is going through some of her most trying times. I'm kind of at a spot of stability, even though I'm still all messed up and lost between relationships and still having Angie. But this is definitely a time where a lot of the big learning is going on through Angie.
Yeah. Though you were still struggling emotionally.
Oh, I was still all over the place. I was still totally scared of me because I was only, 3 months now out of my crash. I was totally afraid of dragging myself back down there. So I was also not trying to overload myself, but at the same time trying to get back to my normal life, which had overloaded me. So trying to walk that fine line.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like I gotta believe like that's like attacking me. I'm gonna move now. Okay, so I'm starting now at August 3, 1998 in my journal.
That's one day after my birthday.
Yes, it is. That's true. Happy birthday.
Yay.
I put a note under your door back then wishing you a happy birthday. I didn't mention that in the story because it didn't really fit, but we're mentioning it now.
There's still notes.
Yes, there is.
Not very often. It's getting further apart, but they still happen.
Yeah. So I'm writing this just shortly after I get the notice of court on my door because I haven't paid rent. So I said, what do I do now besides pray more, longer, and harder? It ain't like I have anyone to turn to. Vic, Beth, and Sonia are all away. God, I know all of this is happening for a reason. And I know this is of you. I know you have not abandoned me, and I know I'm still on the right path. It's taking every ounce of strength and courage I have to leave this in your hands and not fix it myself. I know you put things in place, so I couldn't do it myself. No one is here to ask for help, not even Mom and Dad. They're away already as well. My parents had retired early and they were traveling across Canada, so I didn't even have a way to get a hold of them. So I was recognizing there was no coincidence that literally everybody in my life, in my, regular life, not distant friends or anything, was away. I had no one to ask for help. So I said, I know this I know you are asking me to trust you and to put this in your hands and let you take care of it. You want me to learn of trust. God, am I ever. I don't even understand how, but it's getting easier. I cry and panic less and just put it into God's hands more. Not sure if it's angel help or just pure exhaustion. The weirdest of all is that I still don't feel suicidal, which is actually kind of surprising because, to be this low in life, to literally have hardly any money to my name, to have barely any food, have not paid rent, now I got a notice I have to go to court. Why wouldn't I be suicidal, being that I had suicidal tendencies? So I said, God, how am I doing with all of these tests? I'm getting better and better at just coming to you instead of freaking and crying and panicking. There's just been too many coincidences for this to not be of you. I'm just getting one huge lesson in trust is all. You've left me alone only so I cannot lean on or ask for help from anyone but you. It's no coincidence that it's happening this way. The least likely person to go away was Vic, and even she's gone. That's not coincidence. That's you. Well, please, God, I ask again, let me fly, not fall. So I'm just like, please, God, don't make this go as far as it needs to. And I said, this learning to trust is not easy. It does feel good knowing what it's really about, though. As I was walking today, I saw not one, but 3 signs of the word trust on them. This was because I was still walking. I had nothing to do during the day, and I was terrified to be at home, so I walked the streets of Calgary downtown, literally for hours. And it's amazing what I discovered is a lot of banks have the word trust in them. That's where most of these signs came from. And it was like, wow, I had no idea that most banks have the word trust. It's kind of funny. So then I said, yep, that's my learning. Now I've got God talking to me. So I've had lots of angels channeling me. And this isn't the first time that God talked to me as well. But this channeling is God directly. And he said, my dear child, you are doing absolutely splendid. Yes, I know this is very hard for you. But you are understanding the purpose. It's not for torture or punishment, only for you to learn. We are all with you, and you shall not falter. So now even God's saying the same words the angels are saying. You won't falter. Court is not your learning. Trust is, and you are doing well with this learning. You are trusting so fully and completely. My child, I'm here, and I've got you in the palm of my hand, and I will not let you go. Only to fly will you leave my hand, not to fall. This is not to hurt you, only to help you for the days to come in your mission. So again, they're still talking your mission, what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going, okay, God, you want me to trust. Here it is. What more do you want from me? So this is still the same. Actually, no, sorry, this is now the next day. And I said, yep, it's been quite the learning with love and trust at the same time. God, I'm so ready for this all to be over and to be feeling the joy and fruits of all my work. Can you end this soon as godly possible, please? I just keep trying to tell God that enough is enough. I've had enough of the tests and hard work, that I'm tired and wish only to experience joy. He hears me, I know, but his idea of what I can handle and my idea of what I can handle are very different. It's just been constantly one thing after another for over a year now. I really feel exhausted and at the end of my rope. I know this isn't all for learning. I know this is all for learning and such. But I'm just so tired of it. God, what more must I go through? Can't this just be over, please? Something has got to break. I barely have enough food left, and I'll go to the bank this morning and see if I can withdraw my last $10. So I'm now literally down to my last $10. When I read that, it still causes me trauma because I can't imagine. I lived through that. Sometimes when I read this stuff, I sit and bawl because I'm like, oh my God, I remember the fear, the terror. And other times it's so surreal. It's like, that's not even my life. That's somebody else that lived that. So it's really kind of weird to have both those experiences to sometimes feel like it was my life and other times not at all. But it was my life. So then I'm writing, I'm so sick of the loneliness, the boredom, the purposeless, fear, anxiety. I have no food, no job, no money, no relationship, no friends to talk to. What is the deal? Okay, I know you've taken everything away from me, even including music. So I will put it all in your hands. Well, what more do you want? How much more in your hands can I get? This has gone on for so long, and it seems the more I pray, the less you hear me and the less you do. I've nothing left, God. I'm empty. Don't you get it? When will you get it? I keep praying. I keep asking. I keep having faith, but it doesn't work. What else am I supposed to learn now? Have I not learned enough about love and trust for you? Yeah. God's timing is perfect. I just don't know what to say, what to ask for, where to turn. Oh, rough times. So then I'm saying, okay, so I'm learning to trust, but my God, have I not proven myself yet? When do you prove yourself? When do you come through?
A little bit of challenging, are we?
Well, hey, I'm like...
You got nothing left to do except challenge back, I guess.
I yelled, I screamed, I challenged, I swore, it's called coping. Coping. I had nothing left to cope with but challenge. So yeah, now I'm challenging them even more. I say, when do you come through with your end of the deal? I've trusted, I've loved, over and over and over. You have not come through with your end of the bargain. You said I would not falter. Well, I feel like I'm faltering big time. Where are you? You leave me with nothing, and I can't even talk to Beth. I have no support, no money, no food, no relationship, and almost no place to live. You can't leave me like this, not after all I've done and learned. What are you? And where are you? I need help. Don't you get it? I need you. I need your comfort, your love, your reassurance. God, I want so bad to trust, but I gotta tell you, it's so hard. Things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. I trust, and where does it get me? About to go to court, with no money, no food, and no support. You want me to trust and believe when I have zero positives. Help me believe. That's why we have believe here. I'm begging. Help me! All right, now we get some Rob back in our lives.
Now what did I do?
Yeah, what did you do now? Next day, this is August 4th. Rob slid another note under my door.
I probably maybe was just responding to the birthday note. Of course, trying to make this all her fault that we're back in touch. Yeah. That would be my style.
Yeah, that would be. So I'm saying, not a bleeping thing has changed. Oh, sorry, I took away your bleeping.
Yeah, go ahead. You're a little further away from me today.
I am, yeah. It's hard for you. We're sharing a chair. We're actually sitting on the same chair, so it's interesting.
It's a big, wide chair, but at the same time, this is not our normal style of venue.
No, it's a bit tight.
Yeah.
So I said, not a bleeping thing has changed. He's still the same. No, my dear God, you have not reached Robert. He's nowhere close to being able to accept my choice of life, and you... my choice of life and you. And he's definitely nowhere near proposing. Because, of course, again, all these angel poetry saying he's coming to your door and with a ring. Yeah, I see that happening. Also,
being a lot more 3D back then, I was just barely knowing really what you were going through. In fact, I didn't know I didn't know the whole details. No. But I could see that there was some distress and... not being able to accept your choice of life. Well, back then, your choice of life looked pretty terrifying to me. I was in no hurry to get any closer. I can definitely promise you that.
Well, then you didn't know anything about my lack of money or anything like that.
No, I didn't, but I could still sense the distress.
Yeah.
Yes, I still see a bunch of red eyes, and I didn't think you had a job and all these other things. I didn't see any change. You were hiding the downward spiral quite well.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see anything that I would have defined as an upward spiral.
Well, but you couldn't have, because we hadn't even really been in touch for like 2 months, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
So it was interesting times. So I'm saying to God, he hasn't accepted my choice of life, and he's definitely nowhere near proposing. I need a few miracles now, God. One to save me and Robert, and one to save me from getting booted out of here and into court. Yeah, so I'm still waiting on miracles, because my angels keep saying, isn't this what you want from me, God? Is this what I get for trusting you and sending love like crazy? In other words, I'm like, dude, this is still bargaining. From our last story, we're talking about the grieving stages and bargaining. I'm still bargaining with God.
That's a pretty big entity to bargain with.
One's desperate. You do whatever you got to do. All right, so now we're at August 5th, and it's been a rough day. So I said, what a day yesterday was. Major tears, I tell you. I must have 1,000 angels helping me because I should be so exhausted. All I did was cry yesterday. Didn't eat or drink much, and it was very hot out. Angels, are you protecting me and healing me as I sleep each night? Thank you for all you're helping with me. I couldn't do this without you. It is divine help that I'm still here and still going, still believing. There is no way I could do this on my own. That much I know. Sure enough, at 10 p.m., when finally for the first time yesterday I was calm and not crying and on the verge of tears, Beth called. So this is now, my friends are back. They're all slowly coming back from holidays and everywhere else that they were. And it was only when I was in a stable place could I reach out. Anytime I cried when I was panicking or distressed, I would get blocked from being able to reach anybody or them being able to reach me. So I was being forced to center myself first and be calm and stable, which I'm amazed I was ever calm and stable in that situation. So I was saying, Beth and I talked for an hour and a half. She's absolutely amazed with me. Each time she talks to me, she notices more growth and change. She said she could hear me talking from my soul last night. It wasn't just head stuff. I really believe it now, she says. It's nice to hear someone thinks I'm growing because I'm too close to it all and to see all the growth. I'm seeing some of it though, like the fact that I'm realizing I have to follow God over anyone. Even if it means losing Rob, friends, apartment, money, family, etc. I just have to follow the calling of my heart. I don't understand it. I just have to though. So it's interesting that it was just this call of my soul. I didn't even understand what was going on, what I was doing, but I just felt like I had to. And it didn't matter what I lost or who I lost. I just had to do it. Now, just to explain, I shared everything with Beth in terms of, the court stuff, and she was just like, let it go. It's not your learning. So even she was telling me that the same thing I was being told by God and the angels, that it's not your learning. Just don't stress over it. So it's amazing that I'm this low in my life, and even my friends are like, no, it's all good. Don't worry. Really? Like, that still amazes me looking back, that my friends weren't like, oh my God, are you nuts? Like, what are you doing? They were still supporting me. They could feel that this was something I need to do. All right, so now we get some more Rob talk in our journal. I said, so about Robert, ever since I got his note last night, I've been praying for him and sending him love. I'm still sending you love. Aw, I tried. He seems so closed off, so cold and so bitter. It's hard for me to even remember when things were loving and spiritual between us. Rob mentions in his letter that even though he's not sure if it's a good idea, he wishes to see me again. It just never ended with us.
No, it didn't.
It was constant. Oh my God. We'd try to pull apart and that damn magnet would just keep pulling us back.
I always have missed you when we've been apart.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be together now.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yay.
Yay. These points were really rough. So I said, he asked my thoughts, and I responded he said, respond in whatever fashion you feel is best. Vic thought I should just go straight up to Rob's place, but I knew differently. Once again, I need to put it in God's hands. Wow, like I was really learning to trust. I was learning to really decipher what I needed to do before just making flash decisions. So I said, there's nothing I could say or do to convince Rob or make him understand where I'm coming from with all this spiritual stuff. Only God can do that. So I prayed after I got the note and got an answer right away. Leave it alone. My job right now is to put everything in God's hands. Trust, trust, trust. So it's in God's hands along with everything else now too. I just pray and pray and pray that God ends this. I'm so tired. Over and over, no matter what has happened, I have loved, I have trusted. I think I have learned. So God, I keep asking, will you let me out of this hellhole? And stop the tests, please? I don't want to go home to an unsafe apartment anymore. There's no food in it. Plus today I will spend the last bit of my money. Please, please, please. I've had enough. It ain't fun being away from home for 10 hours trying to pass time. Then I feel anxious when I am home. Yuck. Trust God. I know. So I'm very aware of what the lesson is, but does it make it any easier? Not so much. So I said, if anyone ever told me I'd be at this point, trusting God to this degree, I would have laughed in their face. So hard. It's amazing what we can do when God leads us. There ain't no way on God's green earth that I could or would do this. I'm still amazed that I am doing this with no help. Don't life just surprise you at times? It's amazing what the soul chooses to accomplish before it comes to earth. No wonder we have to forget, or we wouldn't do what we set out to do if we knew how hard it would be. It's amazing that I actually knew that then. I was growing so much with all the books I was reading and the awareness that I had that I was starting to really understand that my soul had made these choices. So even though, yes, I was still struggling with ego, I was still throwing the temper tantrums and begging God for it to end, there was a part of me that knew that my soul had chosen this and I wasn't getting out of it. So I find that fascinating that I wrote that. So I said, now I need to pray for Robert. God, I pray you help him. Be with him and love him. He's hurting and I can feel his pain and struggle in his note. Aww.
That was nice.
It was nice. See, I loved you a lot. Even though I was a runner at one point, I still sent you a lot of love. I said, I don't know how this energy works, but I pray he's getting my love, somehow, some way. We're going to discover later on, a couple months later in the story, that he was getting my love. It's kind of fascinating. So I said, I keep rereading Rob's note from last night. He's struggling. It's evident in what he writes. In one paragraph, he says, I still feel it would be best if I kept away from you. And yet the next paragraph, he says, although keeping away from you for a while longer would add a little more cushion of safety to my healing process, I wish to gather your thoughts on meeting again. That is so typical of how you speak, too.
Yeah, that'd be how I would say it / write it. Yes, it would.
I'm so glad since I don't have your notes, I at least wrote some of it in my journal, so I have something of you. And then I was saying I can really feel his struggle between head and heart, between logic and love. I know this is not my place to help him, though, other than to send love. It's up to God and Rob now. In other words, I was very aware that there was nothing I could do to help him, to convince him that he should wake up to this spiritual stuff, or there was nothing I could do to help ease his pain. I knew it wasn't up to me. I had to just leave it in God's hands. Now, it's interesting also, I just want to address, I have never been I've never been a religious person at all. When I was young, I was raised Roman Catholic. We went to the church, just Easter, Christmas, we were like the holiday church people. That was it.
The C&E club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So God was never big in my life. I've always believed in God, but I was never one to really, I wasn't one to read the Bible or any of this. So all this stuff about God in my life and in my journal is just simply because I had nothing left to turn to, which is exactly what I was to learn, is to trust in a higher power, whether you want to call it God, creator, all that is, it doesn't matter. That's just what I used then for the term was God. So just to clarify, never been a big God person per se. Back then I had to turn to something because I knew there was a lot going on that had nothing to do with what was in my control. So I'm saying I can feel Rob's struggle, and I'm like, well, nothing for me to do about it. Do you want to talk at all about your struggle?
No.
Okay. You're funny. No.
It was just a very simple struggle of just missing you, but knowing that I shouldn't be around you. So I was just every day wanting, but no, get through another day doing what I'm supposed to do, which is staying away. And then the next day would come along, there'd be another one of, oh, yes, Angie exists. Get through another day, stay away.
And so why did you decide in your letter that, okay, even though I should stay away from you for my healing, I want to gather your thoughts on meeting? Why would you want to meet if you know it's best for your healing to stay away?
Just like any other time that you miss someone, even though you're not supposed to miss them, once in a while it would feel nice to just actually meet someone again. And it wasn't like we were a long ways away. It wasn't like we had to meet for hours and hours on end, or,
No.
or travel a long distance to get to meet.
We were
for
20 floors apart and in the same apartment.
Yeah, the reminders were so constant that it was so hard to ignore that I did have a bit of, oh, to heck with it. Why don't we just get together and catch back up again?
Yeah.
And also, to defend what you said earlier, I didn't have a lot of idea what was going on in your life, and I think I also had some curiosity.
That's interesting.
When you care about someone, but you don't know how things are going for them, and yet you're not supposed to reach out, that's also stressful.
That's true. That's true. Good point. Okay, so what I said now. Oh, now here's some more anger towards God. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you torturing me and lying to me constantly? How bleeping strong do you think I am? And how much do you think I can take? Well, I can take no more. No more empty days, no more loneliness, no more sleepless nights, no more waiting, and no more hoping. I quit. You hear me? I quit. I took out the bleeping. There was some bleeping in there, but I just took it out. You said I could take matters into my own hands if you did not come through on your end. Fine. You had your last chance and you failed. So it's my turn now. I have a paperclip blocking what I'm reading. You won't do anything about it, so I quit. So, do we hear some ego in there? Just a little. Yeah. You have asked way too much of me, and I'm not bleeping superhuman. You've taken everything away from me and yet asked me to continue and asked me to trust. Over and over and over I trust, but you seem not to give a shit about me or the whole thing I'm doing.
Bleep.
Do you know what it's like to pray and pray and pray with no response, no change, no words from you? And to feel unsafe in my own home? And even more, to feel abandoned and alone because you won't let me see or speak with anybody. Why won't you give me something, anything to hold on to? No friends, no food, no job, no purpose, no safety, nothing. Why have you taken anything and everything from me? How am I going to get through this day? What will I do to fill the void of time? Why are you asking so much of me? I'm so sick of the tests. There seems to be no end in sight. How do I find hope in hopelessness? How do I go on when I feel empty and alone? Things just get worse and worse and worse. And what do? Nothing. You sit back and let me suffer. I'm tired of the games and the tests and the waiting. It's just endless. I pray and I stay positive. I love when I want to hate. I have faith and hope and trust when it makes no sense to me. I do what I'm asked, and what do I get in return? Nothing. I don't know how to make you understand that I've had enough. Is the goal to just kill me or what? What more do I have to do or say to get through to you that I'm tired, I'm scared, I'm lonely? I've had enough. Enough is enough already. It goes on, but I skipped some of it because you get the point. But I did say, I don't know how to get through another day because my money is all gone and I can't stay home and I can't walk because I'm too tired. I have no music and writing doesn't help because you don't seem to hear me or give a bleep. It hasn't been much of a writing day. This is now at 10:30 at night. So I didn't have much to do that day because I couldn't even write anymore. I was just so frustrated. So I said, there's nothing left to say. I did more crying and panicking than anything. This morning and last night was hell. The panic attacks are killing me. Not allowed to talk to anybody and nothing helped. I just panicked. It's been another day where I couldn't hold back the tears anymore. I just couldn't fight them today. It's been the hardest day of all today. Being complete hell. Miraculously, my angels arranged for me to see Beth and I, that we actually connected. So now she's back from holidays. After 2 weeks of not seeing anyone, no friends, no support, no encouragement through the hardest period of my life. I've been thinking of ways to commit suicide today. Okay, so here we go. Suicide's back. The pain has just gotten to be too much. I see no hope and I feel only panic. Nothing has worked today to decrease the panic. Not praying, not walking, not writing. So that was a brutal day of just huge panic attacks. But what amazes me is that I still wrote a gratitude journal that night. I still wrote 5 things that I was grateful for.
I see that.
Yep. And I amazed myself that despite feeling incredibly hopeless, incredibly challenged, oh, we're going to lose our whole thing there just because our computer screen dimmed, that I was able to manage to still find positives. That's the human spirit. We can do so much more than we really think we can, and that's why we're pushed past our limits. For us to learn what really makes us tick and what we really can do. All right, so now this is August 7th, and I've said, God, this is ridiculous. I feel like a fugitive. I'm sick of running and feeling scared. I hate not feeling safe in my home, and I hate having to be out all day. Again, I was out all day because I didn't want to be at home. I was terrified to be confronted by the landlord or somebody giving me another note of court, especially because I was being told that wasn't my lesson, it was just simply trust was my lesson. So I didn't want to face anybody and tell them what? Hi, yeah, I have no money and God's telling me to just have faith and my lesson is trust. I don't think the landlord was really going to care about God and trust. So I'll just stay away. So now I'm so desperate that now that I'm thinking of Rob again and I'm thinking of ways to cope with him. So I said, oh, Robert, it would be so nice to sleep in your arms knowing I'm safe, to snuggle and have you hold me tight, to wake up in your arms and still feel safe and protected with no one coming to get me and take me away. As the days and the weeks and months go by, it's getting harder to see and feel and believe that, and to keep the image of Rob and I together. It just feels so impossible. I know nothing is impossible with God or with love, but I only know it intellectually. I don't honestly believe it yet. That's why I believe again. Trying so hard to believe that all this stuff I'm being told, all these angel messages are real. And I'm like, how? How is this ever going to happen? Oh, okay, so now it's the same day. It's bedtime, and I said I feel very tired. I've been thinking of Rob today. Big surprise. Wondering if he's wondering what's up with me because I've not responded to his note. He asked me to respond to his thought of meeting again. Then I thought of calling and leaving a message. But what do I say? If nothing has changed, there's no point. I'm on this spiritual path to say, and if he can't accept that, then I still meant what I said. Accept me or get out of my life. It wasn't even asking him to be on this path, simply to accept that I'm on this path. It's been 3 days and I've given him no response. Nothing to be said. I think lots of leaving a phone message, but I just don't know what is right. So I'm struggling with, do I contact him? Do I not? What do I say? I'm also terrified to communicate with him because, God, the last thing I want to do is tell him the shape of my life. I mean, it's even gotten worse since we last communicated. And if he couldn't handle it then, how the hell was he going to handle it now? As if you were going to be okay with me having no money and having court notices stuck to my door. I'm yeah, I'll just stay away. All right, August 8th. Okay, once again, I've been knocked off my feet after just feeling like all will be okay. I was just coming back from Vic's when I saw Rob in the elevator.
Inevitably, it's going to happen sometime. We travel the elevators, we travel the stairs, we live in the same place.
Still, I'm trying so hard to just not be in touch. And then the universe just shoves it in my face. I said, oh God, I forgot just how much I'd really miss him, and I could barely speak. I'm still shaking. I want so bad to be back in contact with him, but how can I when things are so up in the air? There's no way I could tell him of all of this, the fact that I have no money, being asked to leave here. God, I pray you have a plan and know what you're doing. Man, seeing him has really shaken me up in 2 ways. It made me realize just how much I missed him. In other words, I've had a couple months without seeing him, and I've had so much stress otherwise that I was like, okay, I can manage without this Rob stuff. But now, no, see Rob, and it's all right back. Do you remember that day?
Not specifically.
Okay, I do. It sucked. So I was saying it's shaken me in two ways. It's made me realize just how much I miss him, and it's also made me scared of not knowing the future, of money, my place to live. I'm still shaking and my heart is still pounding. My God, this was so not expected. I really did not understand God, I really don't understand you most of the time. I still don't see how you're going to bring Robert onto the spiritual path. I wait and I pray and I send love and I trust you when you say he's getting my love and that our paths have merged. But my God, I gotta tell you, it's so hard to believe when I continue to see only negative. I feel less hopeful after seeing him. I keep running into him I keep running to you, God, and I keep putting my trust in you, even when none of this makes sense to me. I just don't get it. Now I just, after regaining some sense of peace, have gone through more hell, and I feel knocked down again. Now I miss Robert 10 times more than I did before. It's been a long time since seeing him made me go weak in the knees and made my heart pound, but oh my God, did it ever this time. He looks so good. Oh, I remember, you totally did. You'd been working out a lot.
Hey, it was the middle of summer. I probably been climbing a few mountains, cranking a little bit of weights, riding my bike.
You were coping is what you were doing. You were doing your own version of...
Probably exercising all the time just to avoid having to deal with anything else running around my head, if I could.
Totally.
It isn't as if going out for a bike ride stops the brain from thinking. You can balance and pound down a path and have lots of time to think. But you do what you do.
Yeah, you did a lot of that.
We all kind of do what we do, just to keep on coping.
Yeah. This is now August 9th. I said I find this to be distressing, trying to believe that Rob will ever walk this spiritual path with me. This is such a stretch for me. So, okay, it actually did happen. Here we are. But it took way longer than what I thought. That's the perception of, angels and stuff. Their time again, not so much our time. We are there now, but we definitely were nowhere near there then. Nowhere near. So I said I gotta trust that I can find hope in the hopeless. So I'm digging deep again, still trying to find some trust. August 10th now. Well, where do I start? What do I say? I finally called Rob and he invited me up to his place. Oh God, here we go again. We chit-chatted about stereo stuff for an hour or so and then talked about us, what we do and where we go from here. Neither of us had any answers. We both mentioned that we still love each other. Yep.
Not going to deny it.
No.
No point in that.
We tried that. It didn't work. And no matter how we try to ignore or squash the love, it's still there. Rob said it's been hard for him going on all of these trips because I should be with him and it makes him miss me.
All of my mountain trips, I'm sure.
Yep, and the air show.
And the air shows.
I wrote, the air show was on yesterday and he didn't even go to that because he said he wanted to take me or no one. Oh, that's nice.
My poor buddies.
I wrote, so he's hurting too, still struggling with his love for me. So this, just as a reminder, we often think that because our twin's not in contact with us, that they don't care, that they don't miss us. Fact is, they do. They're just coping in their own way. They're doing whatever they can do to manage because they don't understand these feelings. They don't understand why this love won't go away. So just because they're not in touch doesn't mean they don't care.
I recall this not being easy. It was... some days I think I found it annoying. And that would be the day where I would go out for a 2-hour bike ride just to try to make it go away. It's really tough when you're living in a 3D world and you feel that you should be able to just be in charge of your life.
And
you're not.
Yep.
You're not. You've got all this other stuff coming back to get you. You accept it, but you don't like it. But at the same time, if I don't really think I had my heart set on completely letting go completely either. I would have, I think, the whole time through preferred to have been in touch once a week or twice a month at a minimum, just to be in touch. It would have felt good. But the odd bits of communication just like when Angie saw me and she was weak in the knees, well, it would all flood back to me too. I had to respect it for what it was, but I didn't want it, but it wouldn't go away. Just sort of like that lost puppy that won't keep coming to your door, you know.
It was a confusing time because it hurt to be apart, it hurt to be together, and we didn't know which one hurt less. So we kept going back and forth to try and find some sort of a managing ability to not hurt. But everything hurt.
I don't know if I'd call it strength versus weakness. I would just call it coping method 1 versus coping method 2. It's just like, which way am I going to cope today? Okay, I'm going to cope by not coping. I'm going to cope by being in touch. That'll feel good. Oh, today I feel a little stronger. Maybe I won't be in touch. Okay, that feels good today. It's not failure or success or strength versus weakness.
No, it was just trying to manage however we could.
It's just trying to feel good.
Yeah.
Whatever feels good.
Yeah. No, I feel bad. Okay, can I carry on with what happened with us?
Sure.
Okay. I lost where we were at. Oh yeah, we were talking about how we can't squash the feelings. Oh yeah, and we were talking about how you wanted to go to the air show, but you didn't. So then we talked for quite some time about our love and what to do with it, how to continue with communication, etc. Finally, we just absolved ourselves to not having a solution and accepted it. Oh boy, here we go. Then we both decided to snuggle.
Snuggling's bad. Snuggling's good, but snuggling's bad.
And then I wrote, well, we know what that turned into. ... For those of you that understand that movie, you'll get that little joke. Now, there's many more pages of the romance novel that I wrote next, but I won't share all that with you. Yes, we'll skip that. We'll leave that for the book. We'll share a little romance novel at some point.
Apparently there's going to be a book.
Well, that's what my angels told me. So I wrote, it was nice to express my love for Rob, to let him know how I love him, and to say it, to show it, and to feel it. Much easier than pretending it's not true. It felt good to simply be honest and open. That's a switch for me. I used to hate feeling open and vulnerable. So I was seeing how much it was actually growing. I was like, wow, like being away from him has actually done me some good, I guess, because the runner is not so much a runner anymore. Then I wrote, even after 2 months of not seeing each other, we still can't get the thoughts of love to go away. So we were still in that place of loving each other, but not feeling like we could be together, not feeling like it was appropriate to be together, just in that place of complete confusion. It was brutal.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thanks for the romance. Make for a good novel in my journal.
Okay. Give you lots to write about, la la la.
Lots to read about later, too. Yeah. And on that note, now that I'm completely read, we'll end this video, I think. So just to clarify, nothing at that point happened with the note of going to court. I was just being told, it's not my lesson. Your lesson is to trust. So I was doing my best to just trust.
Yeah, that was a very, very long, strong week of just trust, trust, trust.
Yep. Yep. And even though I had no money, miraculously, I would be provided for in little ways, which I'll share in our next story, how amazing, crazy things would happen to provide when I needed it. So miraculous, truly miraculous. But we'll save that for next time.
Okay.
So on that note, remember as always to connect with your twin, go within, and we love you guys, and we'll see you in another week.
Bye.
Bye.